Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 1 of the rise of NScale. Now I do apologize, it is kind of echoey in here, but this room is going to get heavily transformed. If you remember, we had like a whole bunch of couches and just a whole bunch of clutter in this general area, but this room is actually going to get transformed, and I am excited to announce today that this room is going to get transformed into the NScale T-Track layout. Now basically what's going to happen is we're going to be doing this in stages, and so what we're going to do is we're going to buy more of these foldable tables. We'll probably buy 2 more just to get us started with NScale, and we'll have this Kato connection track connected to make a bigger layout. And so the whole purpose of this series is that you guys are witnessing, going into a new scale, basically starting the hobby fresh over from a brand new perspective. And so, I kind of wanted to share that journey with you guys. And, it kind of started all with this particular set. So if you were to ask me if I were to do this hobby all over again, what would I do if I had enough research time and if money was unlimited? And so if I had to do this hobby over again, I would definitely start with NScale. Now the reason why I would start with NScale is because Kato by far is one of my most favorite company, because they've got it figured out. Like, they've got this connection track that protects the joiners. It's easy to snap together. I like this more than the Bachmann system. And with the rise of T-Track, it puts some of the best connection track with an actual modular layout that you can do. And it's endless possibilities. Even HO doesn't have stuff like that. And not to mention, you've got Microtrains that has a whole bunch of fancy scheme box cars, which I love. Kato makes a lot of good stuff as well. In the Asian market, when it comes to like bullet trains, obviously we have a few of the bullet trains here, and then obviously you got some other ones like Atomics here that makes the bullet trains as well. And so there's just so much when it comes to NScale, and you can fit so much in there. So basically, I love HO. It's what I grew up with, and it's definitely the biggest of my collection. But there was no doubt that NScale was going to be my next scale that I really wanted to get into. And of course, the wife loves it as well. And so we're definitely going to expand into that. So you guys get to see, a brand new, well, I don't want to say, it'll be from like a brand new perspective of, hey, we're starting from basically scratch when it comes to NScale. And this guy right here was the very first set that I bought when it comes to NScale, and I'm just loving every bit of it. And it's kind of expanded a little bit. As you can see, we bought a whole bunch more of the Kato track here. And so kind of the game plan is that after we get the 2 foldable tables, we're going to grab a few more tables to put all around here. And so basically what we're going to do is this guy right here is actually going to get repurposed. Now I know I kind of talked about using this as another layout to test like LCC and to test DigiKeys, but after a lot of talking with the wife, we decided that we're going to go ahead and just rip all this up, and this is going to be actually transformed into a T-Track rail yard. Now what's going to be interesting is that this layout is going to be half prototypical and half fantasy. And so basically what we're going to do is this half of the room is going to be fantasy modulars, and then this half of the room is actually going to be prototypical, but they'll be connected to each other. So in the middle right here, we're basically going to have what we call Kirby yard. Now this is going to be where the prototypical part comes into play, because it'll be modeled after the Kirby yard here in Texas. And then it's going to be kind of connected a little bit to the San Antonio runaround. So we'll have like San Antonio right here. We'll have the Kirby yards right here. And then we'll basically have all the fantasy modulars when it comes to the T-Tracks. And so here we are. This is basically the beginning of this. Now you guys may have seen some more Easter eggs. So if you guys remember, those who are OG to the channel, and if you've seen some of my very, very early videos, will recognize these 2 modulars and these 2 modulars. So those, for those of you who don't know, this was my very first modular layout, and it's basically off of HO scale, and it was basically a wishbone. You had one loop going this way, connected in the middle, and then it'll go this way and connect to the other loop. However, as you can see down here, I don't know if this camera's going to pick it up, But this particular module was heavily damaged in the move, and then this one, there's a few switches I think that got damaged as well. So the plan is that we're gonna go ahead and rip all this road bed and track up. So the mythical lands is actually going to get transformed into a different scale. Now, this will no longer have the HO mythical lands that you guys saw at the very beginning of this channel's inception. And the reason for that is because on the opposite room here, we're going to have a whole new scale. And I'm going to leave that for a different video because I'm excited for this next scale as well, because there's a lot of cool things we can do with it. So those 4 modulars will be for a different scale. We're just putting in here right now because the room over here is not yet ready to have these particular layouts. Now, obviously, you guys know that this little table is going to get transformed into the Z scale, because again, I don't want anything too crazy with Z scale. I just kind of want to experiment and give you the goods and bads about Z scale. But definitely the next focus is going to be N scale. So with that, you guys get to see the very beginning and birth of N scale on this particular channel. Again, we got 2 more scales that we'll eventually get into, but for now, here is N scale. So with that, guys, I hope you're excited, and with that, I'll see you on the next video.